Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our spoiler-filled, spoiler-filled Last Jedi. Excuse me. Force corruption. Last Jedi movie review. I went to go see this movie with my crew member, both in life and in the online community. Kiram here. Say what's up, Kiram.
How's it going? Oh my
We
god, what a
we both
movie.
went and saw this movie uh, at the lovely Delamo Theater. And oh my god, my torn esophagus, force corruption. We just had to do. Oh my god, I can't breathe.
This movie was just unbelievable.
Yeah, yes,
I
it was.
I'm at a loss for words almost.
Oh yeah, definitely. The reason there's no, if you look on my channel, there is no non-spoiler review first is because it's almost impossible to talk about this movie without spoilers. I have to say this may be one of the best Star Wars movies I've ever seen, and it's definitely the best movie I've seen this year. If I had to give one to say one word to describe this movie, it would be incredible. Like,
They
did you
they
have a good?
handled it brilliantly.
Yeah,
Like brilliantly. I mean, as somebody who has like a deep appreciation for the original three movies, who thought that Force Awakens had its flaws, this movie really it's the fans' movie. It came out on top. I mean, it's just
yeah.
unbelievably good.
I think you and I are both on the same page that this movie is better than The Force Awakens, right?
Oh yeah, by
Yeah.
far.
See, like Force
Better than
Awakens,
Rogue One.
yeah. Oh yeah, Force Awakens I liked, but I felt like the thing that kept me from appreciating it, like that kind of like almost broke the suspension of disbelief was like, oh, like I knew what they were doing was an homage to the earlier movies, right? And so many
Yeah.
things, everything was safe. There were no risks, you know?
It was
This
all
movie,
you knew what was coming next. It was fun, but you could kind of guess what the
yeah,
plot
yeah,
twist
I
was going to
loved it
be like.
because
Yeah.
I think with it being like the thing that launched the Star Wars movies, they had to play it safe. So they're like, let's make them feel like, okay, we know what you want, let's be safe. But and I feel like, and then there was Rogue One, okay, which also played on the nostalgia of the old. I feel like this movie is the first movie since Disney acquired Lucasfilm that is sincerely and genuinely the new Star Wars. What do you think about
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the great thing about this movie is, I mean, watching it, it's almost like they intentionally, in certain points, make you feel like, okay, I know
Remember, it's a
what's going to
spoiler
happen
review,
here, but then
so
they twist it. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they
Sorry.
twist it constantly. No, I said remember it's a spoiler review, so say whatever you want. Like, oh my god. Okay, first of all, let's start. Okay, I love this fucking movie. Like, I
We got
think
to talk about some content. Yeah.
yeah, we got to talk about you love it too, right? So let's start with the bad first. So because they know that we love this movie. My biggest
Penguins.
problem. Oh, those fucking. They're called the porgs. Okay, those were stupid. But I like the fact that at the beginning of the movie, Chewie's like cooking two of them up. And he's about to eat them. And then they're all walking up like, are you really going to eat us? Dude,
You
and
got
then he shoves him off. He's like, "Ah, get out of here!" And then he's like, his mouth is literally open. He's about to bite into a pork, and I'm like, and I was just like, "Eat it, eat this stupid excuse for a toy sale." And then more come
yeah.
over. Oh, dude,
I justify it
what?
like this. They're gonna make so much money on those penguin toys. All right, fine, whatever. They're gonna have more money to work with for the next movie. You know?
Yeah, but I hated that, and you know what? Ryan Johnson is really intelligent because I think he knew that we hated him, which is why Chewie was like, I think when he cooked two of them up, that kind of like equated how much I hated him. I
They
still,
may have also been bridging into another demographic there, trying to because a lot of Star Wars fans are of an older generation. There are a lot of young people nowadays that haven't seen a single Star Wars movie, and like I can't even imagine little kids these days, you know, teenagers and everything. So in a way, something that could attract a kid, you know. I'm not a
Yeah,
teenager, but
yeah,
younger.
yeah, 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 here and there. But
At the end, there's a kid that picks up the broomstick
oh yeah,
and
Broom
uses it
Kid.
almost like a lightsaber. Yeah,
No, no. Okay, well, if you notice, when he picks up the broomstick, he uses the Force. Did you notice that, right?
yeah, absolutely.
He didn't grab it with his hand.
It
He
was
used
very subtle.
he used the Force. So that was their way. Okay, okay. Well, we'll talk about this. He used the Force to grab the broom, which is basically telling everybody, yeah, there's other Force users. There's always been other Force users. There will always be other Force users. It's just like they're not Jedi because they're not trained, you know. But I think that was
Yeah,
an. I
it's
think
almost like the
that's
death of a great Jedi Knight. The cycle continues.
yeah, and but I think that was unnecessary. I think the scene where they're all taking off on the Millennium Falcon. I think they should have just went into light speed and it should have been zoo, and that
Yeah,
should have been the end. You didn't need the
yeah.
little broom kid like that. I was like, what? You know?
That was kind of a newer style
Yeah, that was a
take
little
on it. I
error,
mean, if
which
it
is why the
was,
movie's not on 100. That's an error for me. Right? Let's talk about
yeah,
the bad things. That's an error. Again, the Las Vegas planet. You know what? When they were on that
now
Las Vegas planet, I felt like I got like a Harry Potter kind of a feel, and then they free all the
it was because
racehorses.
of they have all their hair and their weird pointy geometric clothing. It did seem like that. Weird
Yeah,
makeup.
but
But
that whole
here's the thing.
scene, I felt like
It was
that.
totally unnecessary,
Yeah,
but as a big nerd for the Star Wars universe, I liked it, and I only liked it because it introduced us to just some other
oh, the
world
planet.
in the Star
Yes,
Wars universe. In
I
terms of the
agree.
story, I don't
Yes,
care at all
yeah, I 100%
about
agree.
that area.
Yep, I 100% agree. It introduced us to a new like part of the universe, which I always like. I like it when they expand the universe. But
And
yeah, it had nothing to do with the. It did have something to do with the story until you realize that because that was all Poe's plan, right? It was Poe's
yeah,
plan to go find this decoder guy, which is a way for them to shoehorn in Maz Kanata. Which, like, why was she even? Who was she even fighting? You remember Maz Kanata? Butthole
yeah,
eyes, the
that felt like
orange.
thrown in. It was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, she's talking while she's in this big fire. That seemed a little odd, but
yeah.
whatever.
So again, we're talking about the bad stuff, and we're
Overshadowed by the good
yeah,
by
it's way
far,
overshadowed
a
by the
thousand
good.
to one.
I fucking love this movie. I'll give my final score at the end. Um, but Poe's plan was completely unnecessary in the end, right? Well,
Yeah,
it actually, yeah, his plan actually made it worse because if it wasn't for his plan, they never see the big plan that Leia had was they were all going to sneak off, and there was a planet right nearby that Poe was unaware of. If
hmm
if Poe had never sent Finn and Rose to that planet, then that guy that they brought back would have never ratted out what they were doing, and all of the rebellion would have just hid there. And then the plan was that what's her face with the purple hair would have went into Lightspeed, and they all would have chased her, and then the rebellion would still be thousands of people strong. So Poe actually, you see what I'm saying? His plan
yeah,
actually
and
fucked things up royally.
it was
So
kind of this.
now,
It was kind of the second time he made a decision like that, and it goes along with a theme that kind of is within the entire movie in other ways too. This like archetype where it isn't just simply this is good and this is bad, this is light and this is dark. There's a mixture, and the water is like muddied. You don't necessarily know what the right thing to do is. I mean, for example, in that Vegas area, they talk
mhm,
about how all these rich people are selling weapons to the Empire.
yep,
But you come to find out, well, they're selling weapons to the Empire and the Rebellion.
yeah,
They're making all this money continuing the war on both sides. It's not just, oh, these guys are bad. They're selling to the. That would have been the easy, cheap way,
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of
and
the
that's
plot.
I hope nobody can hear me using the restroom. Uh, but that no if Star Wars is anything, it's typically always been kind of political, and that is a thing, right? And it reminds me kind of like of Iron Man, right, where he's like, wait, my weapons are being sold to both sides, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's realistic that way. It feels more like less like a fairy tale, more like a real world.
Yeah, yeah. So that whole side story with them bringing Benicio del Toro's character, which I was disappointed. I love Benicio del Toro; he's one of my favorite actors. I was like, that's what they hired the great Benicio del Toro for. Okay. And then one big problem I
He did a
had.
great job, by the way.
Oh, he.
Sorry to interrupt and stop you there, but
No, yeah, yeah. Go
that
ahead.
character that he sort of created with that weird, unique, like drunken stutter thing, just but suave thief, like it was really interesting.
Yeah, I liked him.
I kind of
He's
hope he makes an appearance in a future movie.
yeah, and you know the thing about his character is he's very a very realistic archetype, the completely neutral kind of guy who just wants to get paid. And if you think about it, Han Solo was like that. Um,
He's like Han minus the rebellion and the Jedi. Like it's like what you could imagine him being before all of
yeah,
Star Wars happened in his purely smuggling days.
yep, that's what he was. He's
In a
like, I just
way,
want to get
in
paid.
just a way.
But when you think about it, dude, if God really now I'm thinking about it more, Poe really screwed the rebellion because they were all about to go to that planet, but that dude ratted them out. You know, after he got
Yeah, well,
demoted. And the thing about it is, I think Poe. So I think the next movie, Leia makes it through this movie. By the way, spoilers. She demoted him, but he's at the end of the movie. How many rebels are still alive? Like literally every single rebel was able to fit into the Millennium Falcon. So there's like what
yeah.
30 rebels. They're all high-ranking officers, right? But
It's
like
interesting. The movie's called The Last Jedi, making you think that maybe Luke is or Rey is the last Jedi here. Well, I guess she is. But you're thinking about the Jedi being the last. But it's almost like the rebellion is losing in ranks too. But they also make it seem like, and maybe in the future they'll be able to
yeah, I think with the
build
next
themselves
movie,
back up.
see with this movie, it took over it like right when the next one. Now, there's no reason to do that. Now you could have say you could have 3 or 4 years pass. You could have 10 years pass, and I really think
Yeah,
like JJ, being that Carrie Fisher's dead, I think that's how they're gonna handle it. Is it's
that's a
gonna
good point.
I think the next movie is gonna start at her funeral. That's what I think.
I can
That
see that.
right? That would be the
Absolutely.
best way to do it. And then
Yeah, it's
Poe becomes the commander because even at the end when she says, "What? Well, don't follow me, follow him." Remember, he's the next highest
yeah,
ranking officer, even though he got demoted to
he
captain.
is.
He's the next highest ranking officer.
Another theme is learning from your mistakes. I mean, Luke
Mm-hmm.
talks with Yoda about learning from
Oh,
his
Yoda.
mistakes
By the
and
way,
training. Oh yes,
spoiler: Yoda shows up.
and it was perfect. I mean, a
Dude,
lot
I
of
did
people
not.
might look at it and
I did not
okay,
see that coming. Not at all.
total
Whatsoever.
surprise. I loved how they animated him too. It looked just like the Yoda from the original series. They didn't try
Yeah.
and make him look hyper realistic. He was realistic, but I mean he's an alien, you know.
No, what I heard
He
is
didn't
the
look
you know
he looked more like a puppet than 3D
yeah yeah
Jedi, which was
yeah
true to the Star
yeah
Wars
yeah.
world.
I think here's what happened. I think they actually used the puppet and then tried to make him look spiritual. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can
I
see
think they
that.
actually
Yeah.
used the puppet and then just added the effects around the puppet. Is I'm
Well,
almost
and as their
certain.
conversation continued, it's almost like he became less spiritual. He was
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
physically there.
I've seen some commentary on this, and I think at first they used a puppet from the original trilogy, and then they used a puppet because I felt like he changed. His look changed through that scene. You know, it
Mhm.
was a weird
And
scene because he looked
well,
different. Like I felt
yeah,
like his look kept changing. Remember, I think I even told you I was like he kind of looks like shit at first.
yeah. But when I told you they made his look, they did that on purpose. This is a total homage. But what I loved about that was Luke Skywalker. I mean, one of the greatest Jedi in the world or in the universe. You know, he has this great resolve that he isn't going to train any more. I mean, he is focused on what he believes in. He's not going to train any more Jedi. He believes the Jedi have
Yeah,
to end.
he has blocked
What a
himself.
better person to
He has
what a
blocked
better
himself
person
off
to
from the
come
Force.
convince him. Yeah, but what a better person than Yoda to come back and to convince him that no, this isn't the right path that
Oh
he's
yeah,
taking. Yeah,
Yoda was the wisest Jedi of all time, and I think Luke at the end of this movie you realize that he was right on that level with Yoda, like because of how it ended. Let's not talk about that yet. Um,
right. Maybe at the end.
but
That's a whole
let's
nother
talk
thing.
about
Before we
okay. Let's try and go
Can
through
I
it.
say
And
one thing
yeah, what's up?
before we move on? We were talking about Princess Leia, and I just have to throw one thing in here. I know after seeing the way she survived, I know there are going to be haters that are going to see that scene and say, "Well, she was in space and she survived."
I think she was within the force
I just have
field.
to. She was using the Force, and just to throw in real science in here, Neil deGrasse Tyson actually talked about the God, what was that? I'm sorry, I'm having a mind blank here. The space comic book movie.
Hey,
Shit.
we just got a comment saying talking about this. Rocky, a viewer says Mace Windu died from throwing out a window, but Leia dies from throwing out getting thrown into space. But yeah, go on, continue. What
Yeah,
did Neil deGrasse Tyson say?
there's another movie where this happened, and it's a big. I can't believe I'm not thinking of it. I feel retarded, but
Yeah,
Neil deGrasse Tyson said,
Tyson.
"I'm sorry, Tyson, Titan." He I heard him talking about like movie science, and this happened in another movie where somebody was in space and they survived, and he said, you know, it's actually possible. A lot of people think that you get introduced to this vacuum of space and you blow up, like your body implodes or whatever.
No, it's not instantaneous.
But
Nothing's
it doesn't work.
instantaneous.
It doesn't work like that. It's very cold, which they showed in the Star Wars movie. But what would happen is you would actually suffocate before you died of any other cause. So in a way, it's possible, and the Force makes it even more possible.
Yeah, again,
I mean, she was out
it's
there
the
for a
Force.
while.
Uh, yeah, I could see that as a valid argument. It could go either way. That's the thing. You'd have to prepare your arguments, for and against. So sorry there,
Right.
Rocky, if we didn't completely fulfill that. But we're just going off the cuff here. We are a non-scripted reviewing organization. So going back to the beginning, we missed the crawl. I read what the crawl was online. It's basically, yeah, they came to hunt him down. And
Okay.
what's his face? Snoke sends his minions everywhere. That battle was awesome
Which battle?
at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, the beginning.
Great
Oh,
space battle.
yeah, totally. Yeah. And right off the bat, they go into how the rebellion is losing its numbers. I mean,
Hmm.
they lose so many people. I mean, it isn't like this fairy tale movie where all the good guys make it out alive. I mean, right at the beginning, they introduce you to a character who knows she's going to die, but is desperate to get to this remote control
Oh
to
yeah,
release all of these bombs from
and
the
I thought she
bomber
screwed
craft.
up at first, but then she doesn't.
Yeah.
And then Poe Dameron leads that, and he kills. See, he kills that thing, which he said that he's like that's a cruiser killer, but they lost every single bomber that they had, which is what I thought was pretty awesome. The next scene, Leia fucking slaps him in the face. She's like, "You're demoted."
Yeah.
And then later in the battle, she,
In a way he's learning from his mistakes, like Luke is learning from his
yeah,
mistakes
yep, and
before
that,
he comes
yeah,
into this more
learning from your
important role
mistakes.
of leadership.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so that whole battle gets resolved or whatever. He gets demoted, and then he goes to her back to the end of Force Awakens. I didn't like that he threw the lightsaber. I felt like that was a cheap laugh. I felt like it was. I think he should have given it back to her and said, "Go back home."
Okay.
Like him throwing it, I
That's
felt was like
interesting.
a cheap laugh. What'd you think of him
So
throwing the?
I have a slightly different opinion of that. I felt it was more reminiscent of Yoda when in the classic movies when Luke first meets Yoda. Yoda is kind of this weird hermit, almost comical character that you don't take seriously,
Okay, okay.
you know.
And he's fighting R2 for the flashlight.
Yeah, and at the beginning, like,
Yeah, you're right.
and
You're right.
same goes for when he gives Rey her first lesson, and she reaches out and he tickles her fingers with
Oh, that shit!
the
No,
leaf,
that shit was hilarious. He's like, reach out,
yeah,
and no, and you see him roll his eyes because you know what he meant. You and I knew he meant like with
right.
your mind, with your soul. And she like
He's
puts her
just
hand
fucking
out.
with her.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh god. So he puts the little.
Yoda was fucking with Luke in the original movies when he was undergoing his training. It was kind of a similar dynamic.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah, he was. He would mess with them.
Yeah.
But you know one big difference. Luke was very impatient. Always, if you look throughout the movies, he's like, "Hurry up! Oh my God, go get going!" But Rey is very patient. She's always been patient. Like,
Yeah.
and now that you know, spoilers, that her parents are nobodies, it makes it when you go back, I think, and see Force Awakens and look at how she was marking the days she's been there. Like, it
Hmm.
makes it all the more sad knowing that she was there waiting for her family that's dead, that sold her off for alcohol.
Yeah, and what a difference from Luke. She came from know nothing parents. She patiently waited for them to return. Whereas Luke's beginning, he lived with his uncle and aunt. He had this anxiety to get away, to get off the
Yeah, but
planet,
Luke,
to
but Luke
see
was,
bigger
but
things.
Luke was the son of
And
the
that too,
chosen
he
one,
came from importance. Yeah, totally different.
and
They
everyone
both
knew.
are similar but
Everyone
different.
knew.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan knew, and his aunt and uncle. They all knew who he was. You know,
right.
they just hid it from him. Ray is literally nobody, and I love that because now see this is the brilliance of it. If you think about it, this makes Star Wars more inclusive now because it's saying you can come from nothing and become a Jedi. You don't
And they
have
didn't.
to without retconning the midichlorians because you could say, well, sometimes someone is just born with the
Absolutely, and
midichlorians.
they didn't play out. They didn't play out. Oh, we need to hide this baby, separate this baby from the parents, and hide this baby from the Empire
Yeah.
on this planet. Which
Yep.
was it's
It was
played out a
literally.
lot in
Yep.
Star Wars.
It was literally her parents were just drug addicts who sold her.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean,
And you believe that, right? I've heard some people say online they don't believe it, but I think I believe it
no,
because Kylo says you know what the truth is. You
yeah,
know, and then she's
no.
like, yeah,
I have no doubt that's true
yeah,
because it is such a perfect. It's telling you it's a deviation
yeah, yeah.
from. They're not rehashing the same old thing.
Yeah, they're not
You
doing the
don't have to.
nepotism. They're not doing the
You don't have to
nepotism
be a
thing.
part of this family. You're not a
Yeah,
son
yeah,
or the sister
yeah.
of.
And
Yeah,
then again, they allude back to that with Broom Kid. He's got the Force. He picked up the
yeah,
broom with the Force. So I love that. I love that. So
absolutely.
so boom, that happens. He fucking trains her. Here's one scene I really liked that gave me almost a taste of what I thought would be to come. Remember when she fights Luke with her staff against his? He's just got like a walking stick.
Yeah,
He easily beats her. Like he's like fending her off. Remember, he's like click click. He just like dodges back. Then he like blocks, and he literally takes her stick and just tosses it. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty. To me, that was a big deal. That was like, oh my god, dude, he just straight up like, like he bent it back, and then even when he fell, because she's got her lightsaber.
And
Well,
same goes with his fight with Kylo Ren. I mean, Kylo Ren was obviously no match for Luke,
oh
even though
no.
Luke ended up conceding. We can talk about that later or now, but um, yeah, I mean, Luke is this powerful figure who doesn't necessarily use his power, which is what a good Jedi is supposed to
Well,
do,
it's like
right?
Yoda. See, this is
You
why a
have to
lot of
have
people.
restraint.
Yeah, this is why a lot of people didn't like in Attack of the Clones. They didn't like the fight scene with Yoda because a lot of people. There was a big backlash. I love the scene because I think
Mhm.
every Jedi needs to know how to use their sword.
And and,
But
and one
but
one
but
more.
but
Uh,
but but Jedi. In a lot of the lore, there was like, well, there's the wise Jedi, and then there's the warrior Jedi,
mhm.
And I think this kind of brings that idea back. Like, what were you gonna say?
And what I was gonna say too, I mean, speaking about Rey and her little mini fight with Luke on the island and that burst of emotion that they had, and this is just one
Dude,
example in the
he
movie.
handedly beat
There are
her.
many
You
more.
got to admit,
He, he
she
he did, but
she
if you
quote
don't
unquote
remember,
won because she brought out the lightsaber and he had no lightsaber.
so here's what I was gonna say, and this happens a lot in the movie. They're going through that fight, and then she pulls out a lightsaber on Luke, who really doesn't have a weapon to defend against that. And in a moment, you're looking at the expression on her face and the way she's holding the lightsaber at Luke. In a moment, you almost feel the darkness, right?
Yeah,
It's kind of a dark moment. It isn't just, oh, she's getting trained and everybody's happy and she's seeing the light and she's excelling and maybe she's having.
yeah, but
And there's this big uh, like they have the sports. Fuck, I'm at a loss for words here.
like a
Um,
training montage.
yeah, like a montage. It wasn't like a She had these really dark moments that made you think, oh,
Yeah,
could
like
she
remember when
really
she
be a
finally
Jedi? Like
meditates?
what?
When
Is
she
she?
finally meditates,
If you
no,
doubt her yourself,
yeah, because
even though
Luke
she's
said,
a protagonist.
yeah, well, Luke said, you just went in her vision, you just went straight into the dark side, but you came back out.
Yeah,
And at that
it
time,
really
Luke,
makes you wonder about it. You doubt her.
yeah,
You aren't sitting there thinking, "Oh, she's gonna make it." He's just doubting her. You doubt her yourself. It's so convincing. Wow, she has these really dark moments.
yeah.
What's gonna happen with this?
One other thing we learned in this movie is on that same island, we had never seen a Force ghost be able to affect the physical world.
That's true.
Yoda summoned a lightning bolt and set that fucking tree on fire.
Yeah,
That we've never seen a Force ghost affect the physical world like that. So I think that's fucking awesome. And then he hit Luke in the forehead with his cane. Remember? He's like, ah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Although,
so
although
this is
you
big.
can
This is
argue
big.
on
This
the
is a
flip
big deal.
side, on the flip side, you can argue that the lightning strike was a force of nature,
Oh,
and
come on, man.
wait, let me
Yoda
finish.
called
Wait,
that
wait,
thing.
no. Let me finish. It was a force of nature that to any other person looking around would just see this lightning strike on a tree in the middle of a lightning storm, but it was much more to Luke because Yoda presented himself to Luke in that way. So it was like a storm was already happening. Lightning was going on, but it. What I'm getting at is it wasn't like Yoda appeared out of nowhere and all of a sudden, oh, here's lightning and this tree's on fire. It was plausible in the way that there was already a
I
storm.
I think
It wasn't
Yoda
like a ghost appeared and
I think Yoda
yeah.
called the lightning bolt, man. And either way, if you don't believe that, you
No, I
still know
believe that.
you still know he
I
hit
believe.
Luke on the head with the cane, right? You saw that.
Yeah. I
Oh,
just
and
say
by
it's
the way,
more plausible
by
because
the way, I
yeah.
realized after watching other reviews that the books, Ray took all the books.
What?
Yep, she took
Wait.
all the books. They were on the table at the end when Finn was looking at a bunch of shit on the Millennium Falcon.
Really?
Yeah, she
I
took all
didn't
those
catch that
books.
at all.
Yeah,
No.
she took the
So
books.
you know what's gonna happen. History's going to repeat
She's
itself.
gonna she's
Rey,
gonna
the Last
retrain.
Jedi.
Yeah, but
Someday she's going to be a master and is going to be that kid. It might maybe one of many disciples. The Jedi might be reawakening.
yeah, again, I think the next movie could take place 10 years. And I do believe
Yeah.
one of my favorite reviewers, the Schmoes. When I was driving home, I was thinking like I think the next movie should start with Leia's funeral. It has to because you can't get Carrie Fisher back, and you don't want her to die off screen. You don't want the crawl to say, "Oh, Leia has died." You just want to see it.
Yeah.
You
You
want to
don't really
see,
want a digital Leia, too.
and you don't want a digital and to recast. There's no fucking way, man. You just can't do that.
No,
She's
they
too
would never do
beloved.
that.
Yeah, it's too. You can't. I think the next movie starts with her funeral. She's
I
old,
agree.
maybe even 10, 20 years. And I think Poe is going to become the general of the Resistance. Do you
No,
agree?
I don't know about. See,
Who else?
I would agree.
He's the next highest ranking guy, and there's
Oh
only
no,
like
I
30
agree about
people.
Poe. I agree about Poe, and it would totally work having it set 10 to 20 years in the future. But Rey as a character is such a. I feel like they would still hold on to her, and if it was
No,
to
she'll
be
be
10 or
there. She'll
20
be
years in
there,
the,
and she'll be
but
that much more badass.
how would they age her 10 or 20 years though and make it realistic?
Dude, I'm
I
almost,
feel like Leia
dude,
dies,
no, it's
even though
fine,
it's
dude,
not
it's
that
fine,
far.
dude, I'm almost
5
40,
years maybe.
dude, I'm almost 40. People think I'm in my 20s. It's fine. It's believable, dude.
Well,
I'm almost. And it's just
I
because
can
I'm
see
fat.
it. I can see it.
If I lost weight,
Ugh.
if I lost weight, people think, dude. When I was 31, I went to a Super Bowl party, with like a bunch of. Don't ask me why, but the person's house I was at, who was a friend, was a drummer. Um, that I was 31. They asked me what grade I was in. Okay, so this is back when I was in shape. So it's possible. Okay, it's possible
Yeah,
to go 10 years and say, dude, Jennifer Aniston is
I'll give you
50,
that.
or Sandra Bullock is 50. Jennifer Aniston is 50. Come on now. Come on.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No, you're right. I could see it happening.
Yeah,
Although,
she'll just have to
I could.
be. They might put like some gray streaks in her hair. Even then, that's not necessary, man. Come on. The 40 is the new 20. Jeez. Come on now. Come on. By the way, come on. Well, how old do you think I look? Anyway. Okay. So Yoda shows up. What'd you think when Yoda showed up? What was your reaction?
Um, like you'd said, total
Did you hear me?
shock,
I know
but
I thought I said I made a noise. Did I make a
I
noise?
think everybody made a noise. You were the first one to react for sure. But my God, and the way they
I know
introduced him too,
I was
you
like,
see him in the
oh.
back of his head a little bit. So you kind of see the back of his head, but you know
I knew
it's
who
him.
it was. Dude, I knew who it was. I was like,
Absolutely.
oh.
There's no doubting it.
I
Yeah.
pointed. I know I pointed. Did you see me pointing at the screen? I was like, oh.
Yeah. You were excited, man.
Dude, I almost wanted to cry. Like, oh, it was so fucking beautiful, man. It was so beautiful.
I definitely. I
I
was
remember.
holding back
I
no
remember you
tears
gave me a
couple of
thumbs up
times.
somehow, and I was trying
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
I'm
I
not,
was staring at the movie, giving you a blind thumbs up because I didn't want to miss a single frame.
Yeah. You gave me a blind thumbs up, and dude, seeing Yoda. Oh my God, dude, it was so beautiful. I was
It
like,
was just so
oh.
nostalgic. I mean, the way they modeled him too, it looked just like the classic movies.
Yeah,
it really
yeah,
did.
yeah,
And the voice too. They recreated the voice.
No,
perfectly. It didn't sound like a
no, they
copycat.
didn't. I think the guy's still alive, dude. Frank Oz. I think he's still
Really?
alive. Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't stick around for the credits, but it's Frank Oz is still alive, so I think that was him.
Okay, sounded like it.
Okay, so then they go
Yeah.
from that, and then what happens? So they go from the thing. She leaves. Wait, what are the terms that she leaves on? They don't exactly have the best goodbye. You know what? Now I'm getting fuzzy. She
Well, it's time to
left.
see it again.
Yeah, she left, and he's like, "I'm not going with you," right?
She left after. So remember, she crawled down that pit that she had a vision of, and she was hoping for an answer to find her parents or whatever, to find an answer in
Yeah.
life. She keeps
No.
she keeps getting reconnected with Kylo Ren in these weird force visions where they get connected over a long distance.
See,
And
there's a plot problem for me because she took the Millennium Falcon and left that island.
mhm,
Oh, that's right. And then she got dropped out of the Millennium Falcon on that little dinghy she was on, right? Okay. No, yeah, now it makes
mhm,
sense. Right? She was in that little pod
yeah,
that went in. Okay, and now here comes another part. Like, this is literally, we're going through it, right? So she
mhm,
gets dropped off into a Snoke's ship where Kylo
yeah,
Ren picks her up and, like, he kept telling, she kept telling Luke that they're still good in him, etc.
mhm,
And basically, she gets brought before Supreme Leader Snoke. She's stripped of her weapons. She's handcuffed, and Kylo Ren standing behind her. What'd you think of that scene?
I thought of so many ways that scene would have ended
Oh
in the
yeah,
middle of it, and none of the things that I predicted happened. It totally caught me off guard, like
yeah.
the entire rest of the movie. I mean, I thought that maybe Kylo Ren, and he does side with her for or a bit there, after
Okay,
Snook
okay,
dies.
yeah. That yes, that's very good. Yeah, myself too. I thought like, oh, they're gonna get together. They're not get together like romantically. I mean, just like team up. They're gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
And then, really, what it
they have
was
a
is like
moment.
when it comes down to the Sith and the Rule of Two, which you have to go back and read the old lore. While there's only two, it's either the master kills the apprentice and replaces him, or the apprentice kills the master and finds their own apprentice. And I think Kylo, in that moment, this is why this is such a Star Wars moment. He's like, this is the moment. There's all three. All three
Yeah.
options are available here, right?
And Snook is saying, as Kylo Ren is summoning the lightsaber that is right next to Snook, Snook is saying, I can feel your resolve. You are determined. You've made up your mind." And he's right, but
Yep.
Kylo Ren has made up his mind in a way that Snook didn't predict.
Yeah, but he's
And he's
clouding
still
him.
he was
Yeah.
still he, I think he was clouded because Kylo Ren's intentions were still dark, right? He still killed Snook.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I thought, well, who's summoning that lightsaber? Is it Kylo Ren? Is it Rey?
Well, when I
And
saw his fingers
and
moving,
what are they gonna do with it?
yeah, when I
Yeah,
saw his fingers moving, even then I was like, they're not gonna kill Snoke. No way. Like, and then he killed Snoke. Oh my God,
yeah,
what'd you think at that moment?
it was perfect,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely
Well, it was
perfect. And
perfect,
usually a big bad
but
guy like that,
yeah,
they
he's the
handle it
big
like,
bad.
oh,
He's the
they
big
keep
bad.
him around for all
Yeah,
these
yeah,
movies.
yep. He's the
Yeah,
big bad. But then you didn't have enough time to even like process that because he brought back he summoned the lightsaber back, and then Rey caught it.
yeah,
And so before you even have time to process, like they wanted to make sure you knew Snoke was dead because when she catches that in her hand, at the same time you see the top half of his torso just fall on the ground, just to make you sure and know that he's dead. And now you're like, oh my God, they're teaming up. What'd you think at that moment when Rey caught the lightsaber?
I thought, who knows what's gonna happen? I mean,
Yep,
I
me
thought, okay,
too.
maybe Kylo Ren will go to the light side. Maybe Rey will start to go
Go
to the dark
dark.
side because
Yeah.
he starts to have this connection with Rey. Or maybe the movie's gonna start moving in this direction where people have both the light and the dark. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, I had no
But
idea.
it was just it was so perfect. Like, Rey has this ray of hope that, oh, Kylo Ren is now going to team up with me. We're gonna help the rebellion. We've killed Snoke. We've killed the Emperor, right?
Yeah,
And
the choices
then
are there.
immediately Kylo Ren goes to like Vader and Luke, join me. Together we can make this universe ours. We can create something big.
Yeah,
And she knew right away,
she's like,
I
"What?"
gotta get out of this. No,
Yeah,
no,
and
no.
the reason he teamed up with her was because he had to get rid of the witnesses, right? He had to get rid of the Praetorian Guard, who were right there.
Well, well, I feel like it
Those
didn't
guys were
matter in terms of
witnesses.
witnesses. I feel like it doesn't matter though. I feel like he only killed them because they attacked him. Because that commander that walked in on that massacre after it happened,
Yeah, what's his face? I
he knew
still don't
what
know his
happened.
name.
Me neither, but he knew what happened. He knew Kylo Ren was responsible for it. I mean, there's no bullshitting that. But what are you gonna do?
But he
Kylo
could have
Ren,
killed him because he was still unconscious when he walked in.
he was
Remember,
going to. He was about to. Remember, he reached for his gun, and then as Kylo Ren woke up, he slowly pulled his hand away from his trench coat. As Kylo Ren got up, he was ready to kill Kylo Ren, but
but he
Kylo
still
Ren,
trusted that Kylo Ren was on board.
he didn't trust Kylo Ren. He fears him because of the Force. I mean, he'd been choked out by Kylo Ren already.
Had he? When?
He he, he had
Not in the
earlier
Force
on in the
Awakens.
movie. No, earlier on in the no, in that same movie, near the beginning, there was a scene where they got in a disagreement, and he chokes the guy, and um, then pulls him towards his hand, and physically has the guy in a chokehold in his hand.
I must have missed
The
that.
guy, the guy fears Kylo Ren, but at the same time they have this rivalry, and
Yeah.
you gotta imagine too the Empire. I mean, Kylo Ren is still this high-ranking
yeah.
guy. Who's gonna go against him? Who's gonna say, "Oh, I'm with this commander" rather than Kylo Ren?
Yeah, well, it's still
I mean,
always the balance of like it's the trust. See, in Revenge of the Sith, hate to say it, but like you can put your trust in the military, but if the entire military turns on the Jedi are gonna lose. You know what I mean?
right.
So like a Jedi is not that all powerful, you know. So I
No, but
think
you gotta think of the minds of the army. This Jedi is kind of an icon to, or this Sith is
Sith.
kind of an icon to them.
Oh, and by the way,
I mean, he's this
they
battle
are
warrior
Sith.
that they've.
Okay. Also, was Snoke a Sith when he did the lightning? Remember, he did do a lightning attack on
He
Rey,
did.
right? He did it on Rey, right? I think. Yeah, he
He
zapped
did
her.
it on.
Oh no, he did
Was
it
it-
on Kylo. Wait, who did he do it on?
Yeah,
He did
he
it on
did it
somebody.
on Kylo because no, he was talking down to Kylo Ren in
Telling
a
him
fit
you're
of
a little
rage.
bitch. You're a little bitch with your
Kylo-
mask. He's like, take that mask off.
Yeah, exactly. And Kylo was about to like rush him in anger, and then he got electrocuted. So
Would
do
you?
know the lore
What'd you
behind
think?
Snook?
What? No, I don't know the lore. There's a lot. A lot of people said there's no lore.
Where
and-
was Snook in the first movies? Not that it's I have a
No,
problem
he was
with it,
not
but
there.
I'm just
He wasn't
curious.
there. And now what everybody's
How did he
saying
become a
is,
Sith, and where was he?
yep. Everybody's saying is like that is gonna be the next best-selling books because everyone
Yeah.
thought like nobody knows still who Snoke is. Where'd he come from?
And Snook is so powerful.
Yeah, so I think those
Before
are all
this
gonna be
era, you would
those are
think-
all gonna be
you would
novels.
think Vader and the Emperor would know of
Yep,
his
nope.
existence.
So
just because
now
they'd feel
the
his
only way to
presence.
know are going to be books and comics, which are all going to be part of the
Yeah.
canon. And so you know he's a Sith because he did the lightning attack. He's definitely a Sith, and I like that Ryan Johnson. There's no you notice they stopped calling it Resistance, and they just called it Rebels. And I'm like, yeah, just please call it what it is. Stop trying to make it something else. Like it is what it is. And
Yeah.
I like that. So we're not gonna know who Snoke is because he got chopped in half, chopped that motherfucking desk in half by Kylo. But I love that scene when they're. What'd you think of that scene, dude? When they're fighting back to back? Did I already ask this? I don't even know.
You did, but I thought it was great. And again, it was like a moment of this is awesome, but I have no idea where this is going to lead. Who's going to team with who?
Yeah,
What side are they going to take? I figured they're going to be in it together, but I don't know in what
yeah.
way.
And upon second
But
viewing, um, I watched a review by a guy who'd watched it twice. You know the Luke scene where he's all badass. Obviously, I remember. Okay, my one thing was like when he lit his lightsaber, it wasn't
mhm,
green, cause his was green at the end, you know. And you realize that it was blue because it was the exact same lightsaber that Rey and Kylo had destroyed. Remember, they ripped it apart. They ripped it in half.
right.
So
Yeah, yeah.
so and there's other things too that let you realize. Okay, so but they do that. She leaves. She escapes. Um, See, I don't know. See, there's a little hole. Like, where did she escape to? Somehow, see, somehow she's okay. I guess she escapes and goes back on the Millennium Falcon, right?
Hmm.
And then that's when Poe Dameron's people come in. It all ties together. There's no holes. There's just problems, you know. They get caught and like blow those people up, and then comes the on the salt planet thing. The salt. It's literally salt. Remember, he's like, oh,
Oh, salt.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
ice. It's salt. So, right,
It
I
was like
think,
salt on this red dust, or was
yeah,
the red dust the salt?
yeah, it was red. It was rust salt, something like that.
It was like this blood archetype,
Yeah,
you
so
know?
so it's fine. I think they did it for an artistic reason, so they could throw up the red dust, you know. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but we haven't missed anything, right? Yeah, it went straight into that one, that
Yeah.
scene, right? Yeah, they chase him
Yep.
down there, and then comes a big problem that I have when Rose. Okay, they have this big, huge cannon. All the rebels are hidden in this cave, and there's no back entrance or there's nothing, right? R
Right.
two, which or no R2 or C3PO,
None that they
whoever.
know of.
Yeah, none that they know of. There's no back way
Yeah.
out. We're behind this door, and they have this big ass Death Star, mini Death Star cannon.
I wish they just called it like a weapon, not a Death Star tech cannon.
Yeah,
But
they
that's
they
okay.
said it's a miniaturized Death Star. I was fine with that because it was a quick way to explain how powerful it was.
Yeah.
And then, they go out on those skiers, which was fine. I love that scene. It's fine. It's a good scene, great war scene.
Hmm. Really put into perspective how screwed it seemed they were, how
Yeah,
junky
but
those
they
little.
still could have came out of it victorious with some sort of sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Finn.
Yep.
And I thought, oh my god, Finn is gonna be the fucking hero. They're gonna make statues of him, right? He's going
Hmm.
to the death weapon thing. And then what happens?
His crush
It's not even
sideswipes him,
yeah.
or she has a crush on him. She
Yeah. He
sideswipes the
likes
guy,
Ray.
puts everybody in jeopardy. Yeah, he does. I want to see them together. But yeah.
She
I mean,
sideswipes him. Okay, so guys, for you guys that don't know, whatever, spoiler alert, he's gonna suicide kamikaze into the center, and they've already said, somebody said, either Poe or somebody, like the only way to attack you is down the throat. And he's like, I'm ready to give my life, and he's gonna do like fucking what's his name in Independence Day, right? You remember that in the
Yeah.
first Independence Day? He's gonna do it. I'm like, oh my god, Finn is gonna be the hero. And then this fucking Asian chick comes and knocks him out of the way. She's like, I saved you. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they're gonna get into the thing. And she's like, we have to save those we love. Like, do you buy that she loved him? She was in love with him.
Um,
Like first when they first met, remember? She had a crush.
she
She's like, "You're
she
Finn,
she
the
adored
hero."
him. Yeah,
And
I kind
then
of buy that she did.
yeah, but then she tasered him and was gonna turn him in.
But that was
Remember?
because of her sister. She felt betrayed. Her sister died and fought. Why? Why now are you gonna run and make what she did worth nothing? You know. So I think that's why that emotion
Yeah,
came up
and
with
then they
her.
went together on that planet, and he still. Okay, I buy that she liked him, right? Do you buy that?
I buy it. Yeah.
But do you buy that
But
he like loved her? I don't think
no.
so.
But
I
I
think
think
I think he
more
still
than
liked
just a
Ray.
I think more than just like a love interest thing, it was kind of just the general like message in the movie. Like, hey, we don't need to be sacrificing ourselves and doing this. I mean, there are other ways. You know,
That no, dude.
it
I
was a
think it's a
broad
plot
message that
hole.
they're trying
I
to
think it's a
make.
plot hole, dude.
A plot hole, but it worked out
But
in the end, right?
yeah, it worked out because if Rose had not done that, we would have not gotten our other great moment. Which, by the way, I hated Rose.
Yes.
As I liked her character up until that moment. I was like, "You
Yeah.
dumb bitch!" Like, oh my god. If I was drunk, I would have been like, "You dumb bitch! You just fucked everything." And then they break through the thing, and even the chick
Yeah.
next to me was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and then she dies. But this movie constantly, like,
Yeah. Constantly, you think one thing's gonna happen. You get sideswiped, and it's something you never would have guessed.
yeah, and then they break through the
Yeah.
door. And who comes through the fucking door? Say it.
Luke. Luke
Luke
Skywalker.
Skywalker, motherfucker. He
The
comes through.
last Jedi Master
Yeah,
until Rey's the last Jedi Master.
yeah, and he
Well, not
kisses.
Master
Dude,
yet.
that scene, I was getting teary eyed. You know, I wasn't sure. I know you, brother, and I respect you, but I still wasn't that comfortable crying, so I had to hold it back.
Ditto.
Because because I knew Carrie Fisher was dead. He holds her hand
Yeah.
and kisses her on the forehead.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. And then I was wiping away some tears when I was looking at you when I should have been looking at the movie. I was like, don't look at me.
Nerd tears, man. But it got. I gotta tell you, man. My nerd tears. I was really trying to hold them back.
Yeah.
They,
And then he
after
walks
that,
out.
when it comes to Luke and his ultimate
Yeah.
sacrifice,
What I tell you
and
before
his,
the movie,
his ascension
what I
to
tell you, I
Jedi
said,
Wisery.
yeah, I told you I want him to go out in a peaceful way, like Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into that, let's see what happens. So what does Luke do? He walks out through the hole that they just blasted. Everyone looks at him. And then Kylo says, what? I want to, you should never commit all of your military resources to one target because that's bad. And
Sure,
at this point, they had already lost all their air support. Because
right.
because
Right, but
Ray
they were
came by in the Millennium Falcon with Chewie. He's like, send all of our fighters. Like, this is how see, this is why you need level-headed people. He's like, send all of our fighters. He was so angry when he saw the Millennium Falcon
Yeah.
come by. And then
Right.
what'd she do? Or actually Chewbacca was pilot. And I don't want anyone to ever confuse this. Chewbacca was flying in that situation.
Yeah.
Remember, Ray
Yeah.
was gunner position.
Ray was in the turret.
Yeah, Ray was in the turret. So give your
She was
respects
in
to
Luke
Chewbacca.
Skywalker's turret position.
Yeah, she was in the turret. Chewbacca was flying that fucking plane. So give your props to fucking Chewbacca. Ray was not. And in my opinion, the Millennium Falcon belongs to Chewbacca, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, he was
And it shouldn't be given to anybody else. Not
yeah,
Rey,
yeah,
not nobody. That is Han Solo and Chewbacca's ship.
yep. And so Chewbacca, by the way, peoples, Chewbacca let him down through the salt mines and all that. And he pretty much single-handedly obliterated their Air Force. So now, right?
Right.
Because they all crashed.
Right.
So he went out, boom, Air Force gone. Now all they got are ground guns.
And in their
Concentrate
point
off.
of view, the rebels have no defense at that point, right? So in a way, it doesn't really matter where they concentrate their forces. In their minds, they're gonna win. The rebels, they escape. They make it out.
No.
Eventually,
Well,
because,
you don't. Okay, well, you don't know at this point. At this point in the movie,
right,
let's
I'm
go
jumping
through.
ahead.
Let's go through what we were feeling at this point. Luke Skywalker, he walks out. Boom. Luke Skywalker. Kylo Ren sees Luke Skywalker right there. I want you to put all your every single gun. And then what's his name from Harry Potter? Is there? He's like, "Is that you sure?" It's just one guy. And then he like choke throw him or something, like slam him.
Yeah, he just throws him against the wall.
Yeah.
Kicks his ass into
Yeah.
submission.
And then what happens? Brrr, brrr. Oh my god, dude.
And you know he's gonna make it, right? But it's what
Well,
comes next that surprises you.
You don't know how is he gonna emerge? As a ghost? As a what? What's he gonna
But
emerge
you know,
as?
the great Luke Skywalker isn't gonna get defeated by an AT-AT Walker.
Yeah. Then
Barrage,
he walks
you know?
out,
I mean,
dude.
what a lame way to
And
go.
and then his action where he like, oh my god, where he like dust it up. Oh,
Dust his shoulder off.
oh
yeah.
my god,
There was
dude.
nothing.
Dude, that was, oh my god.
And at that moment,
My mind was being blown. My
we were all
mind
thinking.
Oh,
we were all thinking,
dude,
okay.
I wanted him
he's
to
got a
use the force
field?
to blow.
Force
No,
field?
dude, I wanted him to use the force field to blow all those walkers, destroy everything. But he didn't.
That would have been cheap. That would have been a cheap plot.
Would it? Well, I don't know. Yes,
Just
you're
like
right.
how I thought
I'm a cheap person. You're right.
The force field bubble around him that we're all now imagining that.
Yeah. I thought he used the bubble.
That would have worked, but it would have been a cheaper move than what they went with.
Oh,
what they
used
was
so much better.
It was classy.
They fight. And then, after the so-called fight, you realize he was meditating on the motherfucking
hold on.
island.
Luke concedes the fight. Luke is evading everything Kylo Ren throws at him.
Oh no,
but
because he's toying with them. He's toying with them. The way Vader would toy with people. The way Kylo Ren toyed with everybody.
But
now.
he conceded like Obi-Wan Kenobi did with Darth Vader in A New Hope. He
conceded,
go.
but he conceded in a way that he was toying with him. He's like, boy, nephew, I am so much more powerful than you in the Force that I don't even have to be there to whoop your ass. Like, that's the most... Oh my god, dude. That's like getting like a UFC fighter against a philosophy professor. And the philosophy professor so confuses the UFC fighter that he chokes on his own shit and dies. That's how I equate that. It was so badass and such an... Oh my god,
perfect.
dude. When I saw him floating above the rock on the island, you realize he never left the island and he was still there.
It was an homage to Obi-Wan Kenobi, to Old Ben, and to Yoda at the same time.
And he's like, brother, I have the Force as my ally, not the dark side. I don't even need to be there, and I can beat you. And now I'm gonna become a Force ghost, and you're gonna see what
My
happens.
my favorite part of the movie though, right after that happens, and he's done. He's distracted Kylo Ren and the Imperials long enough for the rebels to get out. He's there on his island, on his at his rock,
Oh, looking,
and he
and the
he
binary sunset.
reawakens. The wind picks up. The classic binary sunset music starts playing,
I love
and you
it.
see the two suns setting, and it looks just like in A New Hope when he's watching the suns rising on Tatooine when his uncle and aunt are still alive before any
Yeah,
of it
yeah,
starts.
yep.
It ends
It was a
just like it
beautiful.
begins.
Yep, it
Luke
was a beautiful
Skywalker
circle.
watching the
The binary
sunset just like
sunset.
he had
Yep.
watched them rise.
It was beautiful, and I told you before the movie, I want him to go out in peace on his own terms. And it's not that he died. It's not that he's dead. I think he chose.
He became one with the Force.
Yeah,
So much
yeah.
so that
It was his choice to go on with the Force, and there
yeah,
could not be a better end. Like, Luke Skywalker is my favorite Star Wars character. You know, some people are like Han Solo,
absolutely.
Darth Vader, Boba Fett. He's my favorite. And
Absolutely. And you know what's great too? In this movie, he wasn't treated as this god Jedi that is all knowing and all wise.
no, he
He still had
rejected
some
that.
flaws, and he was
What?
learning. No,
Yeah,
but
and
here's the
well,
thing: he was
he
still
rejected.
learning.
He's like, "Oh, the legend. I was a legend, huh?"
Yeah,
Like,
it
he
wasn't until
rejected
the
that.
end that he really became the ultimate wise Jedi, just like the masters before him. He still had just a small amount of growing to do at the end there before
Yeah,
he had fulfilled his Jedi destiny. You know,
yeah. And then he
it was
said, "No one's
perfect.
ever really gone. You just move on." And he chose. He
Yeah,
didn't. I don't even see like. It's not like in this other universe he didn't die. He chose to move on.
he had said he was on that island to die. He was waiting to die, and
Yeah, and you know how I had said to you, I don't want him to spend the whole time on the island. I almost feel like he was
uh-huh.
so powerful in the Force that his presence was on that other planet. Like
Yeah.
that's how
Well,
much his nephew had to learn.
and here's another thing. He goes through all this shit in his life. He sort of lost his purpose. He feels like he did more bad than good. But then in at the end, right before he disappears, he realizes his purpose and fulfills it. You know, and
Yeah, and he goes back.
sets the universe off
Ah,
in a good direction.
yeah, dude, that death was the satisfying death.
It was
I,
it. I
I
was holding
didn't
back tears. It couldn't have
yeah,
been handled
like I
more
told you,
perfectly.
like I told everybody, I didn't want to see him just get chopped down like Han Solo or get like
Or
killed
like Obi-Wan.
or
Even
yeah,
like that.
like I told you right before, I was like, I want him to go out on his own terms, and that's exactly what happened. And I
And
love it. I love
I'm
it.
glad
I'm
he
sad
did
that he's
go out
gone,
too.
but I think he'll be
Well, here's the
back.
thing. Well, as a ghost appearance,
Yeah.
maybe. But here's the thing: if he was still actively a part of the storyline in the next whatever movies that come out, it would devalue his character. He wouldn't be as sacred. The fact that in this movie he went out like he did, they didn't they didn't rape the Luke Skywalker character by just playing it out. You know, they stayed true to this great
Yeah.
character and this great Jedi. Right?
Yeah, I love and I respect the fact that of course there's always the warrior Jedi with the lightsaber and the wise. And and they chose for him to
And
be
he
with the
moved
wise.
on from the
Yeah.
warrior to the wise. It seems like
Yeah.
that's the progression
Yeah, yeah, he
of the.
moved. Yeah, you're right because they trained him to be the
And,
warrior because you have to take out
and in a way,
Vader because
in
Vader
a
was the warrior.
yeah,
Vader was not
in
the
a way,
wise.
in a way, the warrior is just a sliver of darkness, right? And everybody's got light and dark. And when you shed that warrior side, now you've completely shed all of the darkness, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I think of it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think I gotta watch this movie. I'm definitely gonna watch it again tomorrow.
I'm gonna see it again,
Yeah, dude.
definitely.
I'll,
Uh,
right
Unbelievable
now,
movie.
the way I feel, I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but
In fact, I want to see A New Hope actually now. I kind of want to see that movie, and I kind of want to watch some tidbits of the originals, and then go back and see this again in a
yeah,
way.
dude, I'm almost down after we play tonight. If you're still awake, let's watch The New Hope together.
I might be down, man.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I got it on Blu-ray. We'll just stay in the party and synchronize, you know. Anyway, on the Star Strider scale, there were some problems, so it's not a perfect movie, but I give this movie a 98, which gives it one above Coco. This is now the best movie I've seen this year. It's not the most Academy Award winning type of deal, but for those of you subscribed to my YouTube channel, um, this is my favorite movie of the year. And Karam here, I think you did a fantastic job. You seem a little nervous about going on movie review, but dude, you did
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm not. Well, thank you. I'm not used to voicing my opinions
Oh, yeah, you
on
gotta
tape
voice it all
here.
here, dude. You're a lieutenant in the UFOs. You guys see our badges and the thing on the wall. I know normally Venom is my only guest, but Venom decided to. I think Venom, we've all realized now, is not that big of a Star Wars fan. Otherwise, he would have already seen it. He hasn't even seen Rogue One, guys. So,
No, he wants to say he's a fan, but
yeah, yeah. He just wants to buy Battlegrounds and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, let us know what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Thumbs up down below. We will see you later. Alright, you gotta press circle now to stand up and salute. Alright? Alright, press circle. Let's go. And see ya later. Bye.
yeah.